Hello, welcome to the CB support staff yoga class, a restorative class today. We'll be doing a 45-minute class which hopefully will restore, optimize your health, and allow you to de-stress a little bit as well. My name is Tracy. So let's get started. First, when you're sitting down, make sure your knees are giving you approval of how you're sitting, so you can have your knees cross-legged if you like, or perhaps maybe one leg extended if you have knee problems. And then when you're ready, we lift up a little bit just to teeter the spine forward. And we find the front edge of your sit bones, come back over top of the pelvis slowly. And I recommend hold your knees so you can pull your heart forward. And then you just relax your shoulders down, close your eyes. Maybe take a long, slow, thoughtful inhalation into your nose. And then an easy exhalation out through your mouth. That kind of releasing exhalation. You just left the shopping mall. Happy to get out of there. From here, we relax your shoulders down. Chin tucks a little bit in to lengthen the back of the cervical spine. And then from the pelvis up through your lower back, your middle back, your neck, we just grow a little bit taller. And a little bit broader through the shoulders. So they're narrowing or rounding. You purposely roll them down and back slightly. And then your hands rest really easily on top of the knees. Feel comfortable like, your elbows are bent. You feel your shoulders dropping down. With our chin tucked a little bit in towards the sternum, towards the clavicle bones, and our face is nice and soft, relaxed, you just start to take on very slow, long, deep inhales and exhales through the nose. You can hear your breathing, it feels good. Breathe deep like that. And as we all know really, our mother has said once upon a time to us, take a deep breath when you're feeling stressed out. That's kind of what we do here. We take long, slow inhales and exhales, and what it does is it lends itself to lean us towards our parasympathetic nervous system, where we're calmer, quieter, easier going human beings. Shallow, frequent breathing tends to lend itself to becoming a little bit overly sensitive, reactive, and we don't need that, of course. As you're sitting tall today, breathing slow and deep, just draw your low belly slightly inwards. It will engage the transverse abdominis, and as you do that, you'll find your lower back will feel more supported. And then again, we use all the extensor muscles in your spine, your torso, to sit up tall again, good posture, shoulders down and back. Smooth breath again. Today, to open the heart a little bit, which always feels good, take the hands around behind us on the floor. You sort of pull the shoulders down, lift that big heart of yours up and forward. And as you press the chest forward, you're going to lift the spine out of your pelvis. You'll feel a very pleasant length occur along your clavicles, your collarbones, down your shoulders, down maybe even your biceps toward your elbows. And in a sense, it decompresses your lower back. So as you're rising up a little bit, you feel your spine become more and more comfortable. And maybe even add a little sideways sway, easy sideways sway today, back and forward. And then eventually we kind of hold our knees again. As you breathe deep today, lift your heart up and forward, hold your shoulders down and back. And then as you exhale, let the back round slightly, your arms extend, your upper back reaches for the wall behind you. As you breathe in again, we pull the heart forward in easy extension. And as we exhale, we round the back very slow into a very comfortable flexion position. And then 2 more times again, we'll inhale the heart forward, relax your shoulders down, up the chest. And then 1 more time again, we'll let the back round slightly, just comfortably, hands holding your knees. Now this time we kind of rise up forward, sort of pause here, and for our neck and shoulders, to dissipate some of the tension we typically build in them, just take a long, big breath in with your left hand on the floor behind you, left hand down. We exhale the head up and over to your right shoulder. It sort of hangs in space for a moment. We take a breath or 2 here. And if your neck is, again, approving of it, we roll the face, the chin down toward your right shoulder. Very gradual, in a non-directed kind of way. Just a suggesting kind of way. Because giving direction sometimes causes tension, and giving suggestion usually doesn't. So when I'm dealing with my youngest daughter, I try to give her suggestions rather than hard directions. And then the face, the chin draws down towards your shoulders so gradually, so comfortably. And good at your breathing that allows the head to drop. So as you breathe in, you just want to sit a little bit taller, let your shoulders down. And as you breathe out into that window of opportunity, just allow the face, the chin to drop slightly further down towards your right shoulder. And tension likes to reside in the neck and the shoulders, doesn't it? So lots of times when we're undergoing difficult situations, again, stressful situations, sometimes, again, creates tension in these upper neck muscles, the shoulders, the upper trapezius. Now your chin melts down towards your shoulder like butter on a pancake. As you inhale this time, the head comes back up again. We exhale the hands back to your knees momentarily. The right hand goes behind us towards the floor to give us some steadiness. We inhale the body tall again, and we exhale, dip the head over to your left this time. No hurry, just let it hang there momentarily, let it acclimatize. Then eventually, just exhale, allow the chin to drop down towards your left shoulder, very slow, very gradual again. And we just breathe it there. So really the breath instigates the movements, not the other way around. Your breathing in lifts you, lengthens you, and then the exhale allows us to softly drop our chin further down towards that left shoulder, oh so gradually. You hear your breathing, so it feels good. Always feels good to breathe deep and slow. And then one last long round of breath in and out through your nose. And then upon the next inhale, bring the head up slowly, hands go to your knees. And this time, you just ease the chin down to your sternum, down to your chest. You can wobble it side to side if you like. You can either just let the head free fall down towards the heart center, or you can lightly take maybe one hand lightly behind your head. You sort of guide it down gently, you sort of fingertip the head a little bit more forward. You might find that that allows you to ease up some of those muscle tensions as well. Beautiful. We'll inhale the head back up again. Again, we extend because we spend so much time in forward flexion, sitting at desks and such, at tables, having our lunch with our family and our friends, and reading books and such. We want to open up the heart center. So to get out of that kyphotic rounding, habit of rounding the upper back, just lift the heart again, draw length. The spine loves extension, doesn't it? From here today, we'll very softly come forward again, and then take the hands down towards the floor. I'll turn sideways to you now. Hands down, flat to the floor, spreading your fingers wide. If you have any wrist issues, carpal tunnel or things like that are irritating your wrists, just go to the base of your fingers if you like. If you're happy with your palms down flat to the floor, then happy you are. Palms flat to the floor. Take a long breath in, and as you exhale, round the back and do a very slow, sort of what we call cat stretch, curving your tailbone to your thumbs. And then we inhale very gently into cow pose, very soft and slow. And then we repeat again, softly go back into it. And it's more of we're just curious about how our necks and our backs are feeling today. So we go into it with no particular expectation or plan here. You're just moving your body, your back again in ways that you're looking for little tensions that exist because of maybe you've neglected these movements, or been static too long. And we invite all the vertebrae to play a part. So we try to get all 24 vertebrae moving: neck, middle back, upper back, thoracic, lumbar, spine, even your SI joint, the sacroiliac joint. We pause in the middle. It's a bit of a free-for-all. So it's ecstatic dance. You move your body in lots of different patterns and ways again, seeking out, looking for these little resisting tensions that exist. Again, because of disuse, no use, maybe injuries possibly once upon a time. And once we move the body again, we sort of create more mobility by moving it. We settle into child's pose at resting pose, balasana. So if you have knee issues, you might just come down to your forearms, keeping your hips high for a little bit, maybe resting your cheeks or face and chop your hands for a little while. If your knees are comfortable enough, you bring your sit bones down towards your heels. Be kind of careful with that. And then once here, you can stay here, up, cheeks on hands again, pondering life thus far. Or maybe rest your forehead down towards your forearms if that feels comfortable. Or bring your head down between your elbows down towards the floor with your eyes closed. But your head should be supported by something so your neck can actually relax here. And then we take, with your eyes closed, of course, long, slow inhales and exhales through your nose. And you'll feel the breath rise into your upper back, your side ribs, your lower back area around your kidneys and your adrenal glands and lumbar vertebrae. And as you exhale, you'll feel your body softly float a little heavier on top of your thighs. The sit bones gravitate down towards your heels. And then to dispel illusion out of our foreheads, which really comes down to expecting more than we're probably going to end up with, just rock your forehead into the floor a little bit. Just softly rock it side to side. And it seems to massage all those little thinking muscles in our foreheads. Because we do think a lot, obviously. And we try to shift from thinking to observing. So rather than participating in problem solving all the time, we sort of step back like a good listener, a good friend. And we just sort of watch and listen to the conversations inside our heads again, because the conversations we have inside our heads again affect your physiology. If you're thinking of negative, sort of stressful things, of course, the body's going to tension up. It'll accelerate your heart rate and increase your blood pressure. We don't need or want that. On the last breath here, you just slowly start to press the body back up into all fours once again. And again, movement's so medicinal for your body. We're just going to turn it and twist it. The most natural medicine we can intake is just moving the spine, moving the body, and oiling up all the joints, which is always amazing. This feels kind of good. And then gradually take a little pause here, bring your elbows down to the floor, move your knees back a little bit, and then just ease the hips down towards the floor slowly, and we kind of come all the way down to the floor. Whether you're resting your cheek on your hands, or your forehead on your forearms, you can do any one of these things, or maybe your chin on your forearms. You close the eyes, take a long deep breath through your nose, just sort of surrender into the floor. This surrender is not like waving the white flag, I give up. It's more of, I'm just letting go of the attachments, all the overcommitments I've made, all the over-obligations I've made again, which cause tension in the body. And as you rock your hips very gently side to side, you feel very gentle rotations in your lower lumbar vertebrae. The ones that are plagued by back problems usually are the lower vertebrae, all the compressive forces. And as you sway your hips very gently side to side, it massages mobility, it massages a little bit of rotation in your lower vertebrae, the SI joints. Then we become quiet, we become very quiet. And the body and the mind both like to be quiet, becoming quiet periodically. You take a long breath in, and then to provide just gentle extension in your lower back, you just walk up to the forearms, into what we call Sphinx pose sometimes. Pull the shoulders down back towards your back pockets. In late December, when it's snowy outside, instead of calling this Sphinx pose, which seems like a very far off place to emulate a posture, I like to call this toboggan pose. So you kind of pull your heart forward, relax your shoulders down towards your back pockets, and just let the feet gently rest on the floor. Now, as we're breathing deep, we're just allowing your lower vertebrae to sink into the lower belly, so it gives you that nice lower dotted curve, that sort of inward concave curve. And there's no hurry, there's no rush. Basically, the lower vertebrae are in gentle extension. There's a feeling of gentle compression in your lower vertebrae, which sometimes feels good. But as always, in any yoga class, if something doesn't feel right for you, doesn't feel like a good fit, just change it. Change it up a little bit so it feels like a better fit. If your quadriceps are pleading for a little bit of attention today, you could bend your knees and point your toes towards the ceiling. You get a tiny bit more of a draw into your thighs and your quadriceps. And then for our ankles today, if you're holding your feet up today, you can circle your ankle joints, really slowly massaging, again, mobility into the tarsal bones of your ankles, the bones that formulate your ankle joints. And then we gradually circle the ankles the other way. We're so dependent on our feet, our ankles, our knees, our hips for mobility, for transportation. We want to take really great care of them. So they'll take you to really exotic, amazing places if you take good care of your knees and hips and ankles. And then we softly take the feet back down towards the floor here. To counterpose it, we come back down momentarily. You can rest on your cheek or chin or forehead on the hands or the forearms. Again, we rock it really gently side to side. And then eventually slide the hands kind of under your shoulders towards your chest rib and curl the toes under. And then from the knees again, if you're okay with this from a back's perspective, you push the body slowly up onto all fours. Adjust your knees a little bit more forward towards your hands. And then again, just move your back in ways that feel conducive to good health. Just kind of turn and twist your spine. So the body is sort of built for it, evolved for movement. So to deny it at those opportunities again, this kind of works to our detriment. We want to move the back and body. So as you've heard before, I've heard before as well, that they say that sitting for long periods of time is like the new smoking. It's just bad for us. It's bad to sit for long extended periods of time. So you want to move periodically. Today when you're ready, we'll look up a little bit and sort of slide one of your knees between your thumbs and bring your hips back down towards the floor. If you happen to have pillows close by, a pillow or maybe a jacket or a blanket, we're going to lay back and open the chest momentarily. So I'm lucky I have a bolster here, nice little cushy bolster, but I could use a jacket or a blanket or a pillow. And to lay back and open the chest, if your lower back is in favor of it, you could bring the pillow or the bolster or blow up against your lumbar spine. But if you have a lower back condition issue, you just move it back a little bit further. Then we very gently sort of drape our bodies back over top of that pillow or bolster or jacket or blanket, and lay back slow. You smooth the ribs out, and you can either cross your legs if you like, or go into what's called butterfly, Baddha-Konasana, soles of the feet together today, put up your inner thighs. Or you might favor having just your legs extended. And then to subdue our tensions in our mind, our faces, rub your hands warm together, make sure they're nice and warm. If they're cool, this won't work, so they're going to be warm. And then once they're warm sufficiently, you massage through your forehead, around your eyes, through the cheeks again, maybe behind your neck possibly. And then the arms come back down to settle beside us. Preferably we have the back of the hands, the forearms, the elbows resting on the floor. If they're too high, it'll probably lift the hands off the floor. So if that be the case, you bring your hands back down, elbows closer towards your hips, and just let them rest here. Now, whatever leg position you're favoring, you can have your knees bent as well, knees together. We're going to take long, big breath, and as if we're breathing down to the top of the head, down your spine towards your pelvis, and then you sort of rebound like a trampoline. The exhale, back up your spine, back over to the top of the head, towards the wall, kind of beyond you. And occasionally, rock the head side to side to alleviate the likelihood we'll build up neck tension. And as you're breathing from your heart, and out your arms, down your elbows, forearms, down towards your fingertips, and the arms get heavy. And then the front of your shoulders drops slightly, so you're starting to notice you're opening up your pecs and chest and shoulder muscles that attach down towards your sternum, your clavicles and such. And that way we sort of defy the natural process of kyphosis, which occurs as we all get older. We all get a little rounder here. And then with your eyes closed today, we'll take about maybe 8 to 10 long, slow inhales. It's not specifically going to be 8 or 10, but it's kind of in that neighborhood. And as you're breathing again, just stay very relaxed, sort of very comfortable there where you are, lying on the block of the bolster. And just notice your face softening, your eyes relaxing, the forehead letting go again, your arms getting quite heavy here. It's called quality time. So quality time is like the time you spend with friends or family or kids, but it's really the time we give to ourselves as well. So you're breathing nice and deep here. You sort of feel the body relaxing, getting more comfortable, settling in. That's it. And then just a few more deep breaths as I look for my watch here so I can stay on time. Nice, big, delicious inhales and exhales. Good. Last few breaths here, fluid full inhales and exhales. And then before we come out of it, we just start to sort of stir the head side to side a little bit, get more comfortable yet. Now, to come off a bolster or a blanket or a pillow, the simple way is just to bend your knees, bring your feet down flat towards the floor momentarily. Sort of rock them in and out a couple of times. Got this watch for my birthday. Don't really need a watch, but today I do. And then gradually roll off the bolster to the side into fetal position. You gotta rest there. It feels so good to go into fetal position. Your head's on your arm, your knees are bent again, you're feeling pretty good. And once upon a time, when you and I were both little fetuses in utero, we didn't have any past history to regret or worry about or reminisce or become nostalgic about. And we kind of lived in the moment. We were taken care of by our mums, fed, loved, maybe not even named at this stage of the game. And everything was immediate in the moment. Didn't think about the future too much. Just hungry, tired, kind of thing. And kind of like that, we want to let go of all sort of past things that draw us, or anxiety of looking towards the future and that kind of viewpoint. And then very gently, you kind of press back up into sitting position today, really slow. When you arrive in the sitting position, we'll just gently cross the legs in front again. I think I'll turn sideways to you again to give you that profile. And once you're sitting cross-legged, we want to elongate the spine. So here's what an older spine looks like, rounded, kyphotic. So you want to lift tall, hands behind you, and lift your heart across the room towards the opposite wall. The shoulders are down here. And then maybe move your hands towards your knees to support your body. And then instead of rounding and dropping your body back down, which will happen with age anyways, we'll move the heart forward and then very gently sway the body so as your spine acts like a handle, and it tilts your pelvis more forward, which means it lengthens into the glutes, the lower lumbar spine. We just real easy sway, ribcage side to side. So you can feel the muscles on the right side, left side of your lower back start to elongate and lengthen here. Feels pretty amazing. And then very slowly start to inhale the body back up, real quietly. Let the hands come down beside you on the floor today. Once the hands are down towards the floor today, we'll put the right hand down beside us. I'll just turn back towards you so you can see one. Right hand down beside you. We inhale the left hand over top of your head up towards the ceiling. We have a question, or maybe we know the answer to life. Pick me. So we drop the shoulder down a little bit. Right hand slides towards the right. And then keeping both sit bones on the floor, we just softly reach that left hip way up and over top of our left ear towards the right side of your root. Keeping your ribs in. And we're in no particular hurry to get into the deepest pose we possibly can. Just ease into it gradually. You're getting into a hot bath. So just test the waters slowly. And as you're breathing deep again, you can sort of leave the head where it is facing forward, or you could turn your gaze toward your inner left bicep. Just soft rotation here. And then you breathe again from your left sit bone up your ribs, up to the back of your armpit, up to the lats, up through your arm towards your pinky finger. Take one last long breath in and out here. And then we inhale the body up, the hand will reach up. The exhale brings your left hand down towards the floor beside you for stability and support. We inhale the right hand up towards the ceiling once again. It goes. Kind of plug the shoulder in slightly. And without a plan again, we just ease the hand over top of your head towards the left this time. As a function of breathing deep and slow. So as you're breathing deep and slow, the body kind of elongates as you breathe in. It's inspired. And as you breathe out, the body folds a little bit more towards the left side of the room. And it's always all dictated around the condition of your back again. If your back doesn't like something, just change it up a little bit. Anything you get discomfort in your joints, elbows, knees, neck, hips and such, just change them. It's not a problem. We look for a muscle stretch, but we respect the fact we have bones as well. We want to take good care of our joints. Now, eventually start to inhale the body back up, and then we'll exhale that hand down towards the floor today. Again, we'll pull the shoulders down, lift the heart up and forward. And then we'll do a wide-legged forward fold this time for your hamstrings. So again, I'll just turn sideways to you all. So you can take your legs wide apart this time, comfortably. If you have maybe a bolster or a pillow or something, you could place it up in front if you wanted to. It starts with the hands behind, really. So we tilt the pelvis a bit more forward, so you're feeling kind of comfortable here. And then gradually you can stay here, hands behind, just leaning the heart forward, gently pulling your toes towards you. Or you can maybe move your hands a bit forward, but without rounding your back up. So you want to lift your heart a little bit. Close your eyes, take long, slow inhales and exhales. And then maybe sway the body gently left to right, very softly, very slowly here. And it doesn't matter how far you go towards the floor, it should feel good, it should feel kind of right. So we're taking these deliberately long, slow inhales and exhales. Hands behind, on your thighs or on the floor. And we relax your shoulders down. And pull the toes back towards. If you pull your toes back towards you, it'll lengthen the Achilles tendon, the calf muscles, behind the knees, into the back of the hamstrings, possibly. You sway your head side to side, gently, gently, gently. Good. We're watching our breathing. Your breathing. So I quiet down sometimes. You can have that opportunity to watch your breath. Perfect. Now we'll lift the gaze back up today. When you're ready, we'll just draw the legs back in front, cross-legged. Again, we'll lift the heart. Lifting the heart, you can do this all day long. The spine would love it, just to extend and lift body weight out of your lower lumbar vertebrae. We'll move towards rotation now. So rotation's a bit tricky in that we'll start in the same place. Maybe I'll go to the right today. So we'll just kind of move your feet forward, lay back down towards the floor initially. To lengthen your lower back, you could draw your knees and slow hug them in. So if you bring your femurs towards your ribs, it draws the lower spine longer. And because the lower spine connects to your middle spine, to your neck, of course, as you change the feelings in your lower back, it kind of affects your middle back and neck as well. So you might like to lift your head up a little bit, tuck your chin in, bring your head back down slow. As we rock the knees side to side, there's that gentle rotation in your lower back that feels so good. Then we start to circle the knees. As you circle your knees again, it starts to massage the lower back vertebrae, the SI joint, the back of the pelvis, the ilium, the lower lumbar spine muscles. I mean, it's just amazing. We take the knees the other way again. It feels so good to elongate the spine and massage blood flow back in those particular areas. And then for the rotation, everybody's spine doesn't turn the same way, neither does it flex or extend the same way. So we typically start by rolling to your right side into fetal position. If you have a sensitive lower back, I would suggest slide a pillow or something under your bottom knee if you wanted to. And then with resting your head on your right hand initially, just get settled comfortable. And we take a long breath in. And as you exhale, we start the slow rotation by just kind of turning your chest and gaze up towards the ceiling, maybe sliding your hand toward your ribs for a moment or two. You're noticing how your lower back feels. If it feels good, you let the head turn a little further, let your left shoulder kind of fall towards the floor. Then you could rest both hands on your ribs if you wanted to. For your lower back, if you draw your knees further towards the right elbow, it could lengthen your lower back, and you might prefer to have that position. You can stay here, hand resting on your thigh. You can open up your arms really slowly to open up the chest and shoulders gently. And if the block or the bolster or the pillow feels more like an impediment to your range of motion, you don't feel like you need it, you could move the block out of there or the bolster out of there. And then rest your head lightly on your left thigh. If there's space between your knees though, or space between your bottom knee and the floor, you probably should have something under your bottom knee so it doesn't over-rotate your lower back uncomfortably. And then for the next 8 to 10 breaths here, you're just sort of gravitating the head towards the left. Every now and then you can pick it up, turn a little bit more to the left if comfortable. And then we just breathe. Nice, big, deep inhales, exhaling. Your floor, I'm sure, is very supportive of your body right now. So you really let your body get heavy into the floor. And your knees are falling to the right, your head's falling towards the left in opposition. And the body feels amazing, taking long, deep inhales and exhales here. And if you happen to play sports like tennis or golf, this just gives you a greater arc of rotation. You hit the ball further, farther, you've got more capable rotation. You can buy new clubs, pay more money, but just rotate the body periodically again. It just helps maintain that backswing, follow through. Allow the shoulders to soften even more so. And the last 2 breaths, 2 nice inhales and exhales here. Getting limp and trustful of the floor, it's supported by your body. We take the last breath in and out, and then now to come out of it, you go out of it the same way into it slow. Kind of slide your left hand toward your ribs, maybe turn gradually towards your right. You can slide your right hand under the side of your right head if you wanted to. You move into that fetal position again, real comfortable. Fascia returns slower than muscle stretch. You might be a little stiff coming out of it, which is sort of normal. And then gradually, when you're ready for it, we take a breath in, breath out. Then we inhale, roll in our backs again. If you're using a pillow or a bolster or something, you can take it with you if you want to. Then once you roll in your back, you can just hug the knees in, maybe rock them back and forward this time. So it's very gentle flexion in your lower back at first. And then maybe bring your feet to the floor, move your hips a little bit to the right, so it sort of takes into consideration your lower back. We draw the knees up, roll to your left side into fetal position this time. So again, you could start with a pillow under your outer left thigh if you wanted to, or something, or nothing at all if you want. We start in that fetal position, we take a long breath in and out, and then slowly go, we kind of slowly turn the body gradually, move your hands maybe just to your ribs for a little while. And a couple long breaths here. So it's kind of like going on a scenic road trip, maybe with family and friends. And you're not in a hurry to get to the destination, because that would mean the road trip is over. You love going on the road, right? Seeing all the beautiful scenery. So as you move into, you're moving into a slow, kind of noticing all the vistas, all the scenery. You're feeling your body open up gradually. It's very unhurried like. And then again, long, deep breath in your body. It kind of accommodates this side slowly. And it'll probably feel slightly or more different than the prior side. That's sort of normal. And then smooth breath. You could have a hand behind your head again if you feel like you needed the support. Or if you had an item around you in close proximity, you could slide that under the back of your head if you wanted to today. And it's really the calming breathing, is it not? So, when you're out and about, if you're dealing with difficult situations, circumstances, working in schools and such again, it can get kind of stressful. And like lots of physicians recommend these days, everybody, Dr. Dean Ornish, Dr. Emin Oz, Dr. Deepak Chopra, my doctor, they always say every now and then during the course of the day, take some deep breaths, because it just alleviates that sort of tension that typically occurs when we're over-obligated again. And then we don't take things quite so seriously. We still do things sincerely. We do our best, of course, but we, whatever the outcome is, it just is. We just kind of let that go. We just do the best we can with what we have. Then it's the over-expectations we place upon ourselves, again, that cause tension, frustration, disappointment, that sort of stuff. Just apply ourselves, do the best we can. We take the last two inhales and exhales here. Nice, long, delicious, deep inhales and exhales. And then on an inhale, just come out of it super slow. Bring the right hand along the floor to your ribs probably. Lie here momentarily. Then after a couple of breaths, you kind of roll to your left side. Maybe you're partially there. Then gradually sort of move to your left side into fetal position. You resting here kind of easily. Beautiful. And then gradually, when you're ready, we roll on our backs once again, kind of hug our knees in. Again, gently just do what feels right. Circle them or rock them back and forth. Your back knows better than I, so you kind of just listen to your body. Like it's always said in yoga, close your eyes. We're not looking at things subjectively because it's all superficial anyways. And rock the knees the other way. You want to get in touch with the deep stuff. You know what's right or wrong. You have wise intuition. You sort of know these things. You don't have to concern ourselves again with the subjective look of things. And then if you can manage it, keep your hands behind your knees. So you have two ways of coming up. Either rock your body back and forth to roll up, or you roll to your right side, fetal position, and press up to sitting position. So either or, we come back into sitting position. And then once you're up into sitting position again, we'll just pause. We'll lift up a little bit. Lean slightly forward again, relax your shoulders down and back. The hands have great dexterity usually, but they lose it after some period of time, like any muscle, any joint. So we rest the hands that forms the top of your knees. You just very thoughtfully move your thumbs, your index fingers, your middle finger, ring finger, pinky finger. It's like an ecstatic dance, unchoreographed dance, where you just sort of move the fingers. And initially they can feel kind of stiff, but as you move them like any body part, they start to warm and start to move more dexterously. And then for the wrist joints, we just interlace the fingers and you sort of roll the wrist up. So it doesn't feel like a stretch. It just lubricates the wrist joints themselves. Nice lubrication going on here. And then gradually today, from here, we'll just take a breath in, kind of push your palms around your back gently. And then as you inhale, come up slow, bring your hands and just sort of touch your shoulders. And as you exhale, just simply extend your arms forward, round your back, maybe hold your wrist, kind of press away, stretch your back muscles. And when you inhale, you bring your hands up, touch your shoulders, bring your chest up and forward, shoulders down and back. And then 2 more times again, we reach the hands forward slowly, maybe hold the wrist again, kind of round your back, stretch your back muscles. And then inhale the body up, touch your shoulders, and we'll do this 1 more time through again. So you round the back a little bit, just comfortably hold your wrists again if you like, press round. This time when you come up though, let the hands come to touch your shoulders. And the shoulders are a susceptible joint to injury because they have a shallow socket. But you move them, just move them slow so it maintains that wonderful mobility that the shoulders typically have. Circle the shoulders out. And then gradually circle the shoulders the other direction around again. Just easy massaging again, mobility back in your shoulders. It feels pretty good, doesn't it? And then one last time again, to get the front heads again. You take the hands around behind you. You can either hold your elbows, might be good, or extend your hands behind knuckles towards the forward thumbs. And we just lean a little forward, keeping your shoulders drawn down and back. And again, you can sort of just gently waver left to right or side to side if you want to. And then by changing the angles and directions slightly, you'll get into little pockets of sort of unrelenting stress tension. And we just want to let them go, alleviate them by moving gently. Good. It will ease the body back up again today. And then for a sitting stretch, which requires a restoration of strength in your body, really, you sit tall with great posture. Great posture. Left hand behind you, just inhale the right hand up to the sitting initially. And then we'll rest that right hand on your left, kind of very gently, like palm down. Then we rise tall. Look, we have these core muscles that turn us. We let the core muscles turn us, not so much the arms per se. And then we close our eyes, but like we're looking towards the wall behind us. We sit tall, come up nice and tall here. Big breath in, and the body turns gently as you exhale, very gently, slowly. Then we breathe the body tall again, being comfortable. And as you breathe out, you turn a little bit more, just tiny little increments of rotation here. But we're not struggling for them, we're not fighting for them. Take 1 more long breath in and out. And then eventually, turn the body gradually forward, move the hands back towards your knees here. Again, with the right hand behind you, we inhale the left arm up towards the ceiling. And as you exhale, left hand goes towards your right knee, just cups it like snow on a mountaintop. We inhale the body up, and then as you exhale, not a lot of effort. It's sort of effortless, if there's such a possibility. You just can easily close your eyes if you like, sit tall. Closing the eyes again, as I mentioned earlier, it's like tasting great food or hearing amazing music. To savor the food, you kind of close your eyes, take a taste of it, you go, wow, it's got great flavors and textures. You hear beautiful music, you kind of close your eyes so it sort of heightens your audio senses, if you would. So when we're turning, we close our eyes so we can really feel what goes on inside the body. Feels pretty amazing again. And then the last breath or two here, nice, easy inhales and exhales, everybody. Perfect. The finale is we come back forward, and last time we'll roll back to our hands and knees. So this is like the full body sort of motions again on the hands and knees, and just last time you just move and turn and twist your back in lots of different patterns. So it's in your hip sockets, your SI joint, your lower vertebrae, your mid-thoracic spine, your rib cage, your neck, your shoulders. And then we just, for a moment, just take a breath in. We exhale, round the back, stay flexed this time if you would. And like a cloud, just sort of circle the body, orbit over top of your hands and knees with your spine flexed in the cat stretch. And I can attest, we have a cat, so I can attest cats like doing this. The evidence is watching our own cat at home. And we inhale softly the other direction, so keeping your back round and floating over top of the hands and knees. And then finally, you just sort of pause here, go back into extension, lift your chest forward, lift your sit bones, your back round into extension. And then just sway the hips very slowly left to right again. So very gentle extension. Back is feeling good. Just softly rocking the hips left to right. Then add in the rib cage like a hammock. Let them rock side to side as well. And let maybe the shoulders kind of wander as well. Combination with this. Finally, for our hips today, you just bring your knee forward between your thumbs, and we do what's called pigeon pose or deer pose. So you bring your knee forward, and then drop that left hip to the floor. My left knee is forward. For deer pose, you have your back knee bent on an angle, and if it doesn't bother your knees at all, you sort of lean gently over that left shin. Just kind of quiet and gradual. So these poses, because the knee is a hinge joint, not a rotating joint, you want to be a little bit more careful here. So you lean forward slow. You might walk the elbows down towards the floor, maybe here, or rest your cheek in your hands. If you favor pigeon pose, you have to have the knees forward. You could elongate your back leg, bring your body over that leg, maybe putting a pillow or even a piece of blanket under your left hip. You could come down into sleeping pigeon, come down slow into pigeon pose, maybe staying here, or relaxing your forehead down towards the back of your forearm. So maybe on a pillow might be kind of good. If you get any indication of knee pain, medial knee pain in your left knee, probably better to go back into deer pose. Your sit bones on the floor. Or if none of those work for you, you could take your back leg around to the front if you wanted to today. And then just place the left shin across your right thigh, and then slide the right hip. This is for people who have knee problems in deer pose or pigeon pose. And you lift the chest and pull the shoulders down. So you're getting into the IT band of your left leg, the glutes. Glutes always need some attention, don't they? Taking long, slow, steady breath in. Relax your shoulders now, wherever you happen to be. Deer pose, pigeon pose, we call this thread the needle sometimes. Perfect. And wherever you are, we start to lift the gaze back up again. So if you're in pigeon pose, you just rise the gaze up. Take your back leg around to the front. And then to the other side, you could go into deer pose, right leg in front, left knee bends again. You can shift this into pigeon pose, extend your back leg straight. If neither of those two poses work for your knees again, you would just do the opposite ankle. You take the right ankle over your left thigh above your knee, slide the heel in a little bit, kind of adjust your hips slightly forward. And then resting on your arms, your hands with your arms straight, just lift your heart up and over top of that shin bone. So all of them are very effective. They just have different effects on your knees, really. So again, you want to keep your knees healthy, and hips healthy, because they take you places. They take you on beautiful trips, take you to work, take you off into playthings as well. We sometimes just assume they'll always be in great condition, but I mean, lots of people have knee and hip problems. Ankle issues. So that's kind of the feeling. It's, as I mentioned earlier, it's like when you alleviate, you filed your taxes, you left them all, you left a difficult situation, your body naturally sighs out tension. So I would kind of encourage you in the privacy of your own home, if you're there, take a long breath through your nose. Just let it kind of go occasionally, because we tend to hold stuff within. Now eventually, when you're ready, you're going to start to slowly come up. You're ready today? As you come up out of the posture, just pause, cross your legs in front. Again, lift that big shiny heart of yours today. And then we lay back into Shavasana for a few moments here. So as you lay back to the floor, you could lie a bolster or a pillow under your knees again to soften your hamstrings or your hip flexors. Or you can just lay back easily, cross your ankles, tuck your knees in, that feels kind of good. And then just let the legs lay out, arms open wide. Your shoulders history will kind of dictate where the arms are. They can be wide, or they can be narrow, depending upon any prior history of injuries or just the mechanics of your shoulders, really. And then today we'll just take 10 long, slow, easy breaths in Shavasana. So take a long, big breath initially, and exhale through your mouth. And then today we'll just kind of ease and watch 10 breaths come and go. And as you're breathing, you want to feel the head body get heavier, more trusting of the floor. Your arms will get heavy, the heels, the hips, the hamstrings, the back. face relaxes more, it gets softer, the front of your shoulders, the top of your shoulders, the back of your shoulders all sink into the floor. And it's shifting the needle for us in restorative yoga to move us back towards optimizing our health, where we have lower heart rate, lower blood pressure, less tension, a better immune system. Beautiful. Last 4 breaths here, 4 to 5 breaths. Rock the head a little bit side to side. Now, if you have the luxury of more time than this, you can stay in your own home, privacy, lying on the floor, maybe even, this may even sort of segue into a nice little nap. You could definitely do that if your body needed it. If you're okay to come out of it, you just firm up your belly and slide your heels towards your sit bones, your knees will be bent. And then with your belly a little bit firm, you draw the knees towards your ribs, give them a little easy hug in today to establish and elongate your lower back. You gently rock the knees side to side till the momentum just sort of naturally rolls to the right in a fetal position where your head rests on your right arm today. And relax there, it feels good to relax and take a long breath in and out. And then eventually just use our hands and our form to press back up to the sitting position to finish off today. And if you're up, you'll just cross your legs in front, you close your eyes, lift the heart by pulling your hands on your knees momentarily. And then we'll rub our hands warm first for ourselves, just show a little bit of gesture of compassion for ourselves. So we just take our warm hands over our face, massage away again any sort of tension in the forehead, the face. And then we rub the hands in front of our hearts, and we open up our eyes and wish each other namaste. Namaste, everybody. Thanks for coming today on behalf of Westside Recreation. Hope to see you again someday.